Welcome to another Turbo Championship of Online Poker 2013 highlight show. This is the big one, the main event number 49, which had a $700 buy-in and a big $2 million guarantee. As you can see, that was obliterated. 3.364 million in the prize pool, generated by over 5,000 runners with a $500,000 first prize. This compares to 3,600 runners last year. Huge growth in the popularity of these turbo events. Senator Boris, 79, will be the man in pole position as we join the final table. Big spread of stacks, as you can see, and 9 players chasing that first prize and a huge sum of money. Of course, this is a turbo event, and the stacks are pretty shallow, as you can see, compared to the 400,000, 800,000 blinds. We'll see if the big money involved means that the players tighten up at all. Don't know about you, but I might, once it gets down to the $500,000 end of things. Quick look around the table will tell you there's plenty of players around about the 10 big blinds mark. Think Fast 9 from Greece, who has the button here. Short stack with a pocket pair. It's a pretty easy shove, isn't it, even with the money at stake. Kekim has the decision. He may well call here. There's 6 million in the middle, so he's getting round about 2 to 1. And he must know that Think Fast would be shoving with a huge amount of hands here. He does make the call, and we're going to start things off with a race. I think it might be the first of many at this turbo main event final table. No change on the flop. Think Fast is the all-in player. Still, the sixes hold. He needs them to hold through one more street, and they do get home. So a great start to this final table for Think Fast. He's back in the running after coming in as the short stack. We'll jump forward to hand number 6. $500,000, $1 million are the blinds. I can tell you that there's a big deal at this final table. Not that surprising given the money jumps and the shortness of the stacks, but I'll tell you about that when it happens. FRMA shoves from the button. Just over 7 big blinds. Nice hand to have, isn't it? Given that he's on the button and he's short stacked. May well get action here. Zerelis with the decision. He decides to put his money in. Decides ace-9 suited is way ahead of the button range of FRMA. Confirmation that the Swedish player has got it in good here. Important flop for both of them. Zerelis will be pretty short stacked if he can't improve. Well, he picks up a straight draw on the turn, so now he can make that straight or hit a 9, but not a heart, and the king of diamonds is no help to him. FRMA takes this one down. Big pot for him, 16.5 million. Zerelis down to a short stack. Is this hand number 9? And Senator Boris has raised under the gun. Being a little bit active with the big stack. Or maybe just read that as an ace-king. Looked at it quickly. Probably not much danger of that at the final table of the Turbo Championship Online Poker, but you never know. Piscolosi with the ace-queen. Thought long and hard about this one, but decided to put the money in and will be in jeopardy here, but does have the best hand. And not too bad of a flop, hitting the ace. Senator Boris also makes a pair, but this looks good for Piscolosi from the Netherlands, and he does get the ace-queen home. Senator Boris, who had the chip lead, seen that stack reduced a little bit, still clinging on to that chip lead with just under 18 million. This is hand 11, the fast and furious action you'd expect at this final table. If we see any post-flop play, I will hit the post-flop play siren button, just to make sure that you're aware. It's odds against right now, I'm not going to lie to you. Zerelis is all in with just over 8 big blinds. Ace-9 suited. Didn't work last time for him. Will it work this time? Odds against, isn't it? Given that TCOOP has the 10s. And he puts the money in, and that should be all of the action. Think fast folds, Senna Boris folds. Kekim will fold. So, two of them for the money. Zerles is the all-in player and also has the worst hand. That's not a good combination, folks, if you want some advanced tournament strategy. Try not to have your chips in the middle with the worst hand. Needs to improve. Ace-9 of spades owes him. Doesn't work that way, sadly. And 10 on the turn wraps things up for TCOOP from the Netherlands. Would have been crippled if he'd lost with those 10s, but in fact doubles, and Zerles is out in 9th. The Norwegian takes home $26,900. Great run through this big field for him. On we go, hand 13, and action folded round to the button. Kekim 1 will shove with King Queen, and Ace-9 suited is the hand of the day, except it never wins. It's just the most frequently occurring hand, which is not that great a prize, is it? Gademo is an Israeli-based player and has 12.6 million. So this is kind of a tough decision. Probably knows that his hand is better than Kekim's range, but at the same time, do you want to put most of your stack at jeopardy in this spot? He decides not. FRMA with a similar decision, slightly bigger stack and slightly better hand, and he will make the call and put Kekim at risk. So FRMA from Sweden in the box seat here, but not anymore. Bingo on the flop for Kekim 1. That'll have him jumping around the room. And really big result for him. He makes the full house on the river. FRMA makes the worst full house. And big pot for Kekim, up to over 18.5 million. The blinds are up, hand 14. This is a turbo, that is going to happen. And El Miami 21 is very short stacked in the big blind. Kekim has picked up a big, big hand. And desperate for some action. Started just to shove instead of making a small raise, which I guess could have looked a little bit more obvious. And does get the action that he craved. El Miami praying for an ace or some kind of other help. He's all in. Not much chance against the highs. Well, Kekim flops a set, but El Miami's still alive. Can catch a straight here to get out of this. Not easy to do. And he can't pull it off. 10 million in the pot. Slides over to Kekim, who's now your chip leader. El Miami 21 out in 8th place. The Mexican wins $42,000. And we are 7-handed. We'd like you to have a free roll shot at a Sunday $215 ticket. I'll give you the password and details later in the show.
He's playing poker!
I've been wandering around this place like a gypsy gnome.
Robert's all in!
Yes!
We are competition everywhere. We are poker.
Welcome back to the Turbo Championship of Online Poker main event. 7 players left looking for that title and a huge $500,000 payday. And as we pick up the action again in hand 16, I can tell you that these players would make a 7-way deal. 7-way deal at this final table. Confirmation of exactly what each of them won as they go out. You can completely understand that. They're playing a turbo event. Pretty shallow stacks, a huge amount of variance, and the money jumps just get ridiculous as we go up the pay scale. So the players looking to guarantee their payday. And who wouldn't do the same? Kekim again with the kings here. Shoves over Senna Boris. You wouldn't have thought Senna would be in a hurry to call here. Has a pretty big stack and being asked to risk it all with King Jack, declines. And Kekim, with this shoving strategy, well, also the strategy of picking up pocket kings a lot, up to over 30 million. Or maybe this will change the dynamic of this final table. Kekim once had it all his own way, but as you can see, there's a bit of a cooler going on, quite a big cooler at this final table. Jacks against aces. Luckily for Kekim, FRMA doesn't have a huge stack here. Very short stack, actually. Boris has opened again. And FRMA makes the easiest decision in No Limit Hold'em. Gets to put all his money in with aces. Kekim is already in with the jacks. And Boris getting a good price to put his money in, but has a really horrible hand against a re-raise and a 4-bet shove. And does get out of the way. So FRMA hoping that these aces hold and get back into this tournament. One of the short stacks right now. And that should do it. Ace on the flop should turn it around. But there's always a sweat, right? It's never easy when the money goes in before the flop. Kekim picks up the straight draw, but the 3 confirms that this one gets shipped over to FRMA. And he's back up to just under 21 million. Shows how fast it can change at this final table with the stack so shallow. FRMA goes from last in the pack to more or less the chip leader in one coup. On we go. Piscalozzi has shoved here and one big ace hole. See what he did there? He picked an amusing name when he first picked his screen name, and now he's branded as it on a major final table. Make that choice carefully, kids. Ace-king for one big ace hole. And Piscalozzi in trouble here. He does have chips to survive this. One big ace is the all-in player, and his ace-king holds. Pretty standard stuff in that hand, and a standard outcome. One big ace, now up to 25 million. Him and FRMA lead the way. The blind's going out rapidly. And, well, it's a very, very short-stacked final now, isn't it? Just 3 players over 10 big blinds. For most of the players, the only move is to shove. And Boris isn't going to hang around. He's been trying to make things happen this final table. They haven't really gone how they would have liked, but finds a picture card, puts in the money. And Kekim, who has an endless supply of pocket pairs, always remember to bring those to a turbo final table. Can't recommend that highly enough. Gets it in with the 7s. And Boris 79 in jeopardy at this final table. Needs to find a king or some kind of other funky run out. Kekim a big favourite after that flop. Aces no good. Just a king then on the river. Well, Boris will be your 7th place finisher, and that's how it goes. Kekim makes the full house up to over 26.5 million and a share of the chip lead. Boris hits the rail. Now, after the deal, very different prize payouts. $193,000 for 7th in a poker tournament. Not bad, right? Gad MO will kick us off in hand number 30 with the pocket 9s. And Piscalozzi, who's left pretty short stacked when that ace-jack lost to ace-king, doesn't have too many options left here, puts it in with king-jack. And Think Fast in the big blind is almost certain to get involved here as well, isn't he, with just 5 million behind. About 3.5 big blinds. In goes Think Fast stack. Gadmo needs to call off another, well, 3 million and change, and that's a pretty easy call with all that money in the middle. And we've got a 3-way all-in pot here. Piscalozzi and Think Fast both all in. Gadmo has the best hand right now and chips behind. Could knock out 2 players right here. Nice flop for pocket 9s. Piscalozzi and Think Fast screaming at their monitors for, well, there's one of them. Piscalozzi hits a jack. Oh, but a 9 on the river. A little bit of drama as Gadmo takes the best hand into the flop, loses it on the turn, and then brings it home on the river and knocks out 2 players. Think Fast and Piscalozzi leave, and we're 4-handed. And as you can see, all 4 stacks very close together after that double elimination. Piscolosi taking home $261,000, over $250,000 for 6th. Think Fast with $160,000 and change. He was low man when they made the deal. The action hasn't stopped, though, at this fast and furious final table. One Big Ace opens the button, and Kekim shoves over the top, and Gadmo wakes up with 10s in the big blind. Beautiful spot for him. He'll be a little bit disappointed. He's just in a race here. Be hoping that Kekim had a far worse hand, or a hand that matched up better for him. So we'll have a big race. They're a really big pot, and Kekim looks like he's going to win it. Jack on the flop. Only a 10 can save Gadmo. He has a few chips left, will be crippled if it doesn't come. Can't repeat the trick with the 9s, and Kekim wins the biggest pot so far, and he's got over half the chips in play.
We are 10,000 people in Brazil, holding our breath. We are alone. Hunters. Hunted. We are committed. Blessed. Calm. We are all in. We are poker.
Welcome back. As promised, details of the TCOOP free roll. It's a Sunday Majors free roll, and the password is Fearless Felix. Fearless Felix. It's on the 29th of January at 3:15 Eastern Standard Time. Your shot at a $215 Sunday Major ticket. Don't miss out on that one. Now, we do have 4 players, but Gadmo was crippled just before the break and would be quickly eliminated after that big 10s versus Queen Jack coup. He took home $251,000 and change. $250,000. Might soften the pain of going out in 4th a little bit. Back to the action. Not sure how much longer it'll last. It's been a really fast final table, as you'd expect. FRMA has shoved from the button here. He's going to get called by Kekim with another pocket pair. This could get us into the heads up if the 4s hold. Got to win your flips in tournament poker, definitely in a turbo main event. Kekim looks like he's doing that so far. FRMA just needs, well, a king or a jack on the river. And that is a jack on the river. Gets out of jail with the last card. And Kekim looking to go into the heads up as the chip leader. Not going to be right now. We'll play again. Hand 49. One Big Ace staying active. And Kekim will flat call. We're in serious danger of seeing a flop. FRMA with Ace-10 offsuit is not going to let it happen. Those of you that predicted 0 post-flop play, winning so far, One Big Ace is going to have to fold that junky hand on the button. I think Kekim's going to have to fold as well. So nicely timed aggression for FRMA. Did have a hand to do it with. Might have done it with far worse in that spot. Takes his stack to over 50 million. He has half the chips in play now. He is where Kekim was. 800,000, 1.6 million are the blinds, and One Big Ace finds an ace. Not a big one, sadly. Slightly raggy one, but it's the best hand. Kekim with a pretty standard call. And One Big Ace is the all-in player, but he's found a good spot to get that money in. Needs to hold. These are big pots, each and every one of them, and it's not going to happen. It doesn't look like. Kekim catches the king and makes 2 pair. One Big Ace needs a 10 now to get out of this. 4 of hearts is no good. Kekim takes it down and will be into the heads up. One Big Ace from Canada in 3rd. $232,000 and change for him. Huge payouts at this final table. And this heads up may not last very long. FRMA raises. Kekim shoves. And FRMA with a huge hand on the button. Heads up. Almost all the money in the middle. And FRMA 1103 from Sweden, a big favourite to win this tournament right here. Kekim needs to catch. FRMA would be crippled. This will probably end it one way or the other. FRMA looking to fade the river. He gets it done. Ace Queen holds up. He knocks out Kekin 1. And we have a champion. It is FRMA 1103 from Sweden. He battles through over 5,000 players to be your TCOOP 2013 main event champion. He wins $326,000. And I can tell you, not only was the final table fast and furious, the whole event was. It took a little bit over 5 hours to win $326,000. Not a bad day, right? Kekin 1, a great performance, long-time chip leader in second, and one big ace in third. Hope you enjoyed the main event of TCOOP 2013. Hope you enjoyed the whole series. More popular and faster and more fun than ever. Can't wait to bring it to you again next year. Until then, for everybody here at PokerStars.tv, I'm Nick Wealthall. I'll talk to you soon.